Wyatt Beasley's getting around pretty good this Christmas. Pretty remarkable given the fact there were no guarantees he'd be here to celebrate the holidays.
It crossed my mind once or twice how it would be or what would happen if he wasn't around for Christmas.
Wyatt suffered congestive heart failure back in July and ended up hospitalized in St. Louis, awaiting a heart transplant.
I was pretty worried, I didn't know if I was ever going to get to see him again, if I was, anything could have happened while I was at home and he was up there.
Just 3 months removed from getting his new heart, Wyatt's revved up and on the go. And while sister and brother battle it out over a ball, Mom and Dad count their blessings. Their youngest son, healthy and home for the holidays.
As a parent, could you ask for a better gift?
Oh no, this is the greatest gift ever. Best thing you ever asked for.
Very special. Very. Because we may not have had him.
Just knowing Wyatt will get to open his presents under the tree,
Special thing that he's here.
makes this a Christmas the Beasley family won't soon forget.
Tops them all off so far.
What are you pointing at?
Come on, post him up, Blake. Box out!
For the last 35 years, there's been an organization in Norman whose members sacrifice their own family time to help kids stay off the streets through sports. And they don't mind using an old World War II airplane hangar as a basketball court. They are appropriately called the Norman Optimist Club.
There's been grown men that come back and are coaching now and coaching their kids that came through this program.
But the program's tiny budget has taken a big hit.
They broke through this one right here.
Burglars recently trashed the building, smashed into the hangar's office, crawled through a wall, and stole the group's $1,500 computer.
Right here. That's what they came for.
In all, they did $3,500 in damage to the old place, and it all happened on Christmas night.
You'd like to say kids will be kids. There's no excuse for it, but we're assuming it was some kids that didn't have proper guidance, didn't have anything else to do.
They just did it just to be doing something, and to me that's pretty damaging to what we stand for.
With less than a month before their next basketball program begins, the Optimist Club has lost all their financial data.
Until we get a computer back, we are pencil and paper for a little while.
They'll rely on each other to clean up the mess while wondering why anyone could take from a group that gives so much.
Why would they want to break into an organization that supports youth programs?
Batting cleanup on his baseball team.
William Dyers was about as healthy a little boy as you could find.
I mean, just going 100 miles an hour all day long.
But one day last May, after a motorcycle ride with Dad,
He started throwing up.
which led to a trip to the ER, where William was diagnosed as having a simple case of the flu. But a few days later,
I took him in and I said, my boy's dying.
William was suffering from pneumonia, his lungs filled with fluid, his heart out of place.
William was crying and he said, Dad, they're hurting me because it hurt to draw the blood. And those were the last words I heard.
When doctors finished the first operation,
Well, then he crashed.
after William's second surgery,
The doctor came in and said, we've got to put him on life support. And that he would come out with brain damage, quite possibly severely disabled. And we prayed.
William was put in a drug-induced coma and kept on blood thinners, which meant he constantly needed transfusions.
His entire body was bleeding. He bled out his nose, his eyes, his ears, his throat.
With their son fighting for his life,
We called for a blood drive.
which ended up netting more than 200 donations. Without them,
He would have died. He would have died. And we know that. And we are so thankful. We are thankful.
now, some 6 months later, 7-year-old William is back at it full speed. Blessed with a bank shot and a second shot at life, William Dyers is living proof of why you should donate blood.
Please do it. It saved our son's life.
They're missing their lips. They've been fighting Their head's full of pus and it needs to be drained. And she said they're simply not going to make it. They're going to be dead within a day or two.
You can't see them from the road, but you can hear their cries for help. Through the tall brush, metal fencing, and chains, nearly 100 pit bulls, a farm of horror.
12 years I've been in law enforcement. I've never seen anything like this.
They're bad. They're very malnourished. A lot of them have wounds where they've either been cut or fighting.
Outside, sheriff's deputies found 96 starving dogs. One was already dead, still bound by its chain. Another had only 3 legs. It took a local veterinarian 4 hours to assess the neglected animals.
She rates her dogs from 1 to 5, 1 being poor, 5 being obese. Out of 96, 94 of them, she rated them at a quarter or a half in conditions.
Officials believe the owner, 32-year-old Jerry Southern, was breeding the dogs to fight and sell. They think he used this metal contraption to lock the heads in place, facing each other, to teach them aggression.
Inside the barn here, he's got 10 other dogs inside caged up, and the ammonia smell inside is just outrageous.
Helpless animals held hostage in their own feces, fighting hunger, the cold, and each other.